I couldn't believe what I saw as I turned onto Willow Creek Lane that Friday evening. A sturdy wooden barricade stood defiantly across my driveway, blocking my car like a fortress gate. And there, arms crossed and radiating smug satisfaction, was Karen Voss, the HOA president who'd spent the last 3 months turning my sanctuary into a battlefield. "What's this about?" I asked, rolling down my window, struggling to keep my voice steady. Karen sauntered over, her smile dripping with fake sweetness. "Temporary community enhancement," she chirped. "The HOA board passed a resolution for boundary clarification. Your car stays on the public curb from now on." My hands tightened on the steering wheel, and I took a slow breath. She had no idea who she was challenging. I was Michael Harper, mayor of a city of nearly 250,000, hiding in this modest home under an alias to escape the chaos of politics. The irony was almost poetic. 3 months ago, I'd moved into this quiet 3-bedroom house, registered under my middle name, craving simplicity. No press, no debates, just mornings with coffee, gardening, and silence. But Karen had other plans. The day after I settled in, she appeared at my door, clipboard in hand, her tone ice cold. "Your shutters are beige," she snapped. "Regulations demand charcoal gray. Fix it in 48 hours." That was just the start. Over the weeks, fines piled up for grass too tall, a non-luxury car, even unapproved flower pots. I gritted my teeth and complied, hoping to keep the peace, but Karen escalated. She blocked my trash cans with hers, ensuring pickup crews skipped my house. She called emergency HOA meetings I couldn't attend. She rewrote bylaws targeting my address alone. And now this barricadia blatant power grab. "Karen," I said, stepping out of my car, my voice controlled but sharp, "this is my driveway. You can't build here." She smirked, waving a stack of papers like a weapon. "Per the 1986 community blueprints, this is HOA-maintained buffer land. We can enhance it as we please. You'd know if you'd read the bylaws." I had read them, along with my deed and the city's zoning maps. This driveway was mine, no question. "I'd like to see those documents," I said coolly. "Submit a request at next month's HOA meeting," she replied, turning with theatrical flair. "And don't touch the fence, it's HOA property. I've got cameras." She pointed to a pole with a blinking red light, her preparation almost admirable. Too bad it was about to unravel. I pulled out my phone. If Karen wanted a fight, she'd get one. My first call was to Tom Bradley, head of the city's zoning division. "Tom, it's Michael Harper. There's an unauthorized barrier at 7,420 Willow Creek. It's my property, can you confirm?" His voice sharpened. "Mayor Harper, will send an inspector right away." Next, I called Lisa Grant from Building Compliance and Eric Walsh from Code Enforcement. Within half an hour, a city task force was mobilizing. I didn't stop there. I rang my attorney, Sarah Mitchell, a legal shark with a knack for HOA disputes. While waiting, I knocked on neighbors' doors. Their stories weren't surprising. Karen had terrorized everyone, forcing a widower to dismantle his porch swing, finding a new mom for drying baby clothes outside, even shutting down a kid's lemonade stand. 45 minutes later, Tom arrived, badge gleaming, followed by 2 city vehicles. Karen must have been watching, because she stormed across the street, face flushed with rage. "What is this?" she barked at Tom, who was photographing the fence. "Ma'am," he said calmly, "we're investigating an unauthorized structure. All construction needs permits. This is private HOA land." Karen snapped. "You have no jurisdiction." Lisa stepped forward, survey tools in hand. "Actually, this fence crosses a deeded private driveway. Got a permit. I'm the HOA president." Karen's voice cracked as neighborhood dogs started barking. "Even presidents need permits," Lisa replied, scribbling a violation notice. "This lacks permits, surveys, and encroaches on private property. It violates city code." Karen whirled on me. "You set me up." Eric was measuring the site, clipboard ready. "This breaks 7 municipal codes, including blocking emergency vehicle access." That was my moment. "Actually, Karen," I said, stepping closer, "the real question is, do you know who I am?" She scoffed. "Some nobody who ignores the rules." "I'm Michael Harper," I said evenly. "Mayor of this city. You've just committed multiple infractions: unlawful construction, property interference, obstruction." The air went still. Her smugness melted away. "You're lying," she whispered. I flashed my city ID. "I came here for peace. Instead, I got months of targeted harassment. And now this." I turned to Tom. "What's the fine for building without a permit and encroaching?" He checked his tablet. $5,000 minimum for permits. Another $5,000 for encroachment. Daily penalties until it's removed. Karen paled. "But I'm the HOA president." "That makes it worse," Lisa added. "Plus the emergency access violation, more fines." Eric handed over a report. 7 violations, over $20,000, not counting demolition costs. Karen clutched the fence, staggering. "I didn't know." "There's more," I said, pulling up emails from neighbors. "I've got proof of harassment, discrimination, and abuse of power. My attorney's filing a grievance with the state HOA board." I nodded to Tom. "We need an emergency community meeting tonight." Word spread like wildfire. 2 hours later, the clubhouse was packed, buzzing with tension. Neighbors who'd stayed quiet out of fear now spoke freely, shaking my hand, sharing their own Karen horror stories. Karen sat alone at the front, her allies nowhere in sight. When I stood, the room hushed. "I'm Michael Harper, your mayor. I moved here for privacy, but found intimidation and illegal acts instead. This fence, built on my land without permission, is just the latest abuse." Murmurs and nods spread. "This ends now." Karen leapt up. "You can't. I've spent years protecting this neighborhood." "By bullying families?" I shot back. "By abusing power?" I called for a vote of no confidence in Karen Voss. "Seconded," rang out from multiple voices. Not one hand rose to defend her. "Furthermore," I said, "I'm proposing city legislation to require HOA boards to register permit actions with municipal oversight. No more unchecked power." I looked at Karen. "And that fence comes down tomorrow at your expense." The next morning, I sipped coffee by my window, watching a crew Karen hired dismantle the fence plank by plank. She stood nearby, defeated, her arms limp, staring as her empire crumbled. When the last post fell, our eyes met. Gone was her defiance, replaced by the hollow look of someone who'd lost everything she thought defined her. The fines topped $22,000, plus $8,000 for removal and repairs, with legal fees pushing her past $40,000. But the real blow came that evening. The HOA board invoked a rule Karen herself had championed. Anyone removed for cause was barred from leadership forever. "I wrote that rule," she whispered, stunned. With that, she walked out of the clubhouse, the door's soft click marking the end of her reign. Willow Creek was free, and I had my quiet mornings back at least until the next fight.